Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and talk about the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus and see how this phone holds up in the middle part of 2022. Now, interestingly enough, I've stated so many things about the Galaxy S10, but the S10 Plus is also one of those amazing phones Samsung made. And personally, when I look at this specific device, I think this is still a very, very good phone that Samsung made, that even though this phone is probably at its end of life in terms of software, I look at this phone and I'm still super happy with the way Samsung approached these devices, and I will probably tell you these are one of the biggest jumps Samsung ever made from one generation to the other. The fact that they made a phone like the S10 Plus coming from the S9 Plus, when you look at those two things side by side, it's not even close. The S10 Plus is a much more, future-proofed phone in so many different ways. Now, in the body standpoint, not much has changed since my early 2022 review of this thing, as most of you can tell. But one thing I want to kind of state, we've gotten the S22 Plus, we've gotten the S22 Ultra, and one thing when I look at the S10 Plus, and I even compare it against the S22 Plus, the S10 Plus's display I think looks visibly better. However, the S22 Plus has that 120 Hz. If the S10 Plus had 120 Hz on this display, I may think that this thing actually may be a little bit of a better phone, in at least the panel standpoint. It's also curved, so I kind of like that a lot. But another weird thing that Samsung did here was giving us a dual camera setup on the front of this phone. Most people may forget, but this phone had a very interesting dual camera setup. It was a wide and ultra wide sensor, so you can actually go ahead and pretty much get a little bit, it was actually too wide, but I would kind of consider it almost like an ultra wide. We had the ability of zooming out a little bit more, which was cool, and I will definitely tell you that was really awesome. This not really held up too well in terms of the future because most phones don't have this anymore, but it was a cool thing Samsung put in. We still have USB Type-C port on this thing, headphone jack, and micro SD card slot, and those things in and of itself, as I mentioned before, are humongous assets for these types of devices. The fact that you have a phone like this that's holding up this well, that has this type of I/O, is super astonishing to me, and that's another big reason why I look at this phone, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way Samsung approached it. Now, we also have that triple camera setup on the back, wide, ultra wide, and telephoto lens, and when you look at the S22 Plus, almost the exact same type of setup. Of course, the newer ones have a little bit better of a experience and everything like that, better camera quality, 8K capability and everything. But these phones, like the whole entire 2019 flagship era from Samsung, they pretty much killed it at. I think the Note 10s were a little bit of a different story, but I think Samsung did a tremendous job with the S10 Plus. And when I look at these phones, I think the S10 Plus carried a lot of 2019. We also had the iPhone 11 Pros and the 11 Pro Maxes. So pretty much from early on that year to the middle of that year with the OnePlus 7 Pros, with the OnePlus 7T Pros coming out later, and the 11 Pro Maxes finishing out the year, I think that whole entire 2019 era was very similar to the 2017 era of devices. Now with the S10 Plus, I think this phone holds up very well. Price tag has gone down a lot in the used market as well. But the only issue I'm having with the S10 Plus is that at least in the middle part of this year, it's not looking like it's going to be lasting a crazy amount longer. It's still going to be getting security updates and everything, so I still feel comfortable recommending this phone. But if you have the opportunity to, I do think the S20 Plus, for a lot of different reasons, is a big upgrade coming from the S10 Plus, especially with Samsung announcing they're giving those specific phones extra years of software updates and everything. It may make a little bit more sense to a lot of people out there to actually go ahead and pick up a Galaxy S20 Plus over the S10 Plus. But I still think as of right now, the S10 Plus is a beautiful phone. I think it's great to pick up. And if you're in the market, I would honestly probably recommend buying this thing if you want, but just know the S20 Plus is probably a better deal in every single area. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.